Ready to go.
There you go.
Now, this is the May 12th, 2022 Land Disposition Committee meeting. And this morning, we'll be talking about two parcels, but I'd like to start the meeting by thanking Kyle Pedicini. These excellent packages he put together. It makes our life, all of us, a lot easier, for sure.
Did you recommend him on the selection of a tire that
No,
BC stuff? is kind of hard to-
Man, I get a lot of pushback from that. Peter Q. Smith has issues with my BC attire too. So.
And rightly should. I'll get you
For
some,
different reasons though. He's a Holy Cross guy. You're BU.
I'll
Right?
get you BU stuff. You'll be
Yeah.
looking good.
Well,
Good.
the only thing I can say is my daughter works in BC
There you go.
in the law. The law department.
my wife's nephew, nieces are both full ride soccer players.
Oh, wow. That's
And they're on the
impressive.
U.S. national team too.
Wow.
This is impressive.
That's awesome.
So they've had quite an experience at BC.
Nice.
So today we're going to be looking at two parcels. And if you had a chance to read Kyle's packet, both the 215 Mill Lane and the 378 Route 28 parcels were identified by town engineering and water as parcels they would like to retain until we get through a phase or two of the sewage wastewater treatment program. So I'd be happy to hear some input from the committee members if that's appropriate, or we can move more quickly ahead. Yes, Jim.
So 215 Mill Lane was purchased by the town for the potential central library. And it was the old Bass River Fish Market.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I tend to have tipped a one or two there. And
You admit that.
I do. Caught some fish there too. And there it sits. The library is still, I mean, I didn't want to make a big deal of it, but we're wasting money trying to figure out what we already know the answer to. With regards to libraries, and, you know, the intent was originally, all right, maybe we'll build a library there, but as you can see, I never thought it was big enough
Yeah.
to do so.
I think were they gonna do, destroy the old one or do something and then build something,
Yeah,
because
They-
erase the lot lines?
yep.
I thought.
And one of my fellow selectmen made a point out that maybe we don't need libraries anymore because of technology.
Okay. Never mind.
But it was the discussion for
Yeah.
many selectmen in meetings. And interestingly enough, so I think at the same time that we did that, what is referred to here as the farmer's market parcel. No, it wasn't the same meeting. We purchased that, which stimulated our development of the cultural center.
Right.
So
That's
we could not expand the parking there because the town bought the green space. And that's part of land bank, property now that we run the farmer's market on. But that
Gotcha.
parcel 215 Mill Lane has become an asset to off-site parking to prevent people from parking up and down Union Street and down. So for cultural center events, they're using that quite often. Now,
It's interesting that the library committee has expressed no interest in that property.
it's fascinating.
You know, and we paid a premium for that property back in 2001.
300,
Probably did.
I think it was 300,000.
Was it?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
300,000.
300. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember.
Yeah.
No, and it
That
was
was one
a
of my-
good purchase at the
One
time.
of my fun events is being
You know,
chaired.
Yeah, for sure, Jim.
So engineering is
Yeah, so
concerned about it.
Yeah, so the reason engineering's comment is because it's pretty close to Route 28, which is where phase one's gonna go through, so they're thinking it could be used as a staging area during phase one construction.
It would really be to keep it for a while to force the library study committee, whatever they are, to say, you need to consider this.
I mean, that's what we bought it for.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, I
That's
would be in favor
crystal
of
clear.
postponing any sale until a decision is made as to where the library is going.
As well as the staging area. I think that's
Yeah,
quite a
that's
valuable
valid.
staging.
Yeah, and keep in mind, it may be an area that just in the future, just leave it alone and otherwise, if we sell it and it gets developed, the unintended consequences of that is now you've got parking issues because of the cultural center's success.
Perhaps.
Right.
So and
We
then
want
what's,
that
it
success.
sounds like the
Yep.
I make a
conclusion is-
motion that we do not offer the property for sale at this point.
Second, by me.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. And I-
Yeah, when I first saw that, I kind of chuckled.
This next property could be even potentially a little more controversial, but again, we had
Hmm,
pretty clear
Marshall. Yep.
statements from engineering and water about their desire to keep it available.
Right, same thing right along Route 28. So could be used for staging, and they actually think it could possibly be used for a sewer pump station,
Really?
although I think it's unlikely, but it's still, those decisions haven't been finalized and won't be for another.
Taylor North
months.
was gonna be the pumping station.
And then driving site.
They
too, so I
moved
don't
that
think,
all around.
Oh, I haven't seen the plan.
Jim, wasn't there a house in that when we were young? I seem to recall one.
In this area?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there was a derelict house on that.
it might be
Yeah,
in the minutes of the town
I think
meeting.
you're right.
Oh.
I think you're right.
Huh.
My sister lived
In
in
the
that
back?
house right in the corner that you just barely see on Wimbledon Drive. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
my sister's house, 16 Wimbledon Drive. She lived there for about 30 years. I love it that they got the pumpkins out for the.
Just thinking the same
That's
thing.
very appropriate.
Kinda nice.
It ain't Halloween until the Congregational Church puts its
No,
pumpkin.
that's right.
So the other things to consider with this parcel is, I think Karen and Kathy both submitted a comment that it does provide value as it's a rare kind of open space parcel along Route 28. It's kind of like an unofficial open space, but it does have a bit of a respite from all the development along Route 28. The other thing to consider is that it's a pretty large parcel. It's what, 1.2?
1.24 acres.
24 acres, so that would be a good asset for economic development to help pay for the sewer system in future phases, because it would be hooked up right there. You could dispose of it through an RFP to ensure that whatever use or site standards you want would be implemented, but those are just all things to consider with this parcel.
Yeah, my recommendation to the committee is that I don't see any urgency here. You know, we have a statement from engineering and
Yeah,
water
right.
that there's, it could be a very.
It's not
important
going
use for
anywhere.
them.
Yeah, I
Right.
think short term, we sit back and sit tight, but I think in the long term, I mean, when you've got frontage on what's that,
Hmm.
Arbor Street,
In the back, yeah.
Arbor and S Road? S Road.
What is the,
No, it's,
someone that goes between Marshall Lovelock's property?
I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah,
The name of it
exactly.
is S Road.
no, there's a name on it.
No, it says S Road.
It does.
Yeah,
Sure.
on the left is N Road, and on the right
Is
is
it
S
really?
Road.
Must be South Road and North Road or something?
Well, that is North Road. Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Okay.
anyway, with our critical need for housing in this community and the discussions of veteran housing and those types of
Yes.
things, this type of property, you could develop the northern section of it, still keep your green look to the south
Yeah.
side of it.
Yeah.
So it would be
Because you have
something I would
access.
suggest our housing people take a look at. For
What was their
long-term.
comment? Did they?
Yeah, I had a comment from housing and she's been in conversation and the recommendation is we not do more housing on Route 28, which I don't agree with personally, but that's just my.
But if you did Jim's suggestion, it kind of wouldn't be on Route 28.
So it would be on
Right.
our,
Build it on Arbor and keep the green belt on the other side.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good suggestion, Jim.
Don't misunderstand, I am one of those people that spoke completely against the Cavalier removing retails from and developing Route 28 with all housing. I think it's, it's counterproductive to what we're trying to achieve. But housing is a critical need, and we've got to find some answers somehow.
And the trust is only to only do two,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
and that's a vote of the trust. So we're not doing any more big things on 28 because of the correct pushback.
Yeah,
You know, we need the commercial.
Mhm.
yeah, for
I'd
sure.
still love to see them develop the site along the senior center.
Old Townhouse Road. That area, you know, that-
With our friends, the housing authority.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They should be able to build something there.
Yeah.
Maybe not the massive scale they wanted in the first place, but something
Right.
down.
housing authority doesn't do anything.
I
And,
know.
it-
It's frustrating.
you know what? It's gonna be expensive, what you could do, if you wanna be difficult, retake it by eminent domain. The town, because they won't sell it to us and we do what we want.
They won't,
Because they don't want to trade. They don't seem, because they were trying to find some trade of
so they
land.
don't want to develop it or sell it? I
Well,
mean,
they,
what do they want
they
to do
can't
with it?
get their heads, for how many years, Jim?
So, like,
15 or so? No, they can't get themselves motivated to do it.
But you may recall the last meeting, I made a statement to you that I truly believe it's a different day. Because there's been so much pressure on low-income housing.
Yeah.
The price
Across
is
the
worth
entire,
a lot of time, talking about it. So it'd be worth opening up the conversation, in my opinion.
And you could do something modest. I mean, you don't need to have
And they get
65,
full
70
support-
units.
And they get support from this community,
I would-
because housing and fentanyl, are the two things that are
Oh.
killing this community,
Mm, mm.
You're right, Jim.
in my opinion.
So would someone care to make a motion?
I make a motion that we do not offer it for sale at this time.
Second,
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank
We
you.
all, well, we don't need it because they've already.
so the next step will be that I'm gonna write a memo that I'll run past you. That will send to the selectmen that basically recaps your review of these 6 parcels that we did and which ones you've recommended for disposal and which ones you recommend to retain.
Excellent,
And then they'll probably want you in for a meeting to talk about that, so
Happy to do
we'll
it.
be in contact about that. But from here on out, it's kind of gonna be ad hoc, I would say. We continue to get requests every now and again from the public about parcels here and there that you guys would need to review. But I don't have anything on the docket for future meetings, but up to you guys if you
Are
have
we-
anything.
are we, a new business, Chairman, are we all set with that parcel that the veterans are going to look at that had high water? And did we vote that when they rejected it, is my
Correct,
understanding?
so,
Does that automatically now?
yeah, so your motion was
Something
for
happened.
58
I
Matachi.
was trying to remember.
Was
That's a
you
note.
recommended disposal, but subject to the veterans
Right,
first getting
yeah.
a look at it, and they said they're not interested in it, so
So-
that will be recommended for
Oh,
disposal.
okay.
through the- But it'll be for the selectmen to consider.
I couldn't
ultimately.
remember if we'd taken the second step or whether we had to have an agenda to revote. it.
No, I
We
And
do
if the
not.
veterans
they're all
don't like
set.
that, maybe they should go look at this.
On the north side of it,
Yeah,
I think
we
it's-
would subdivide the parcel? Is it, there's
technically, I
enough?
don't think, well,
Oh,
but
no,
the
you
zoning
wouldn't
would
have to.
dictate, but you may not even have
You
to,
wouldn't,
just if
that's
you
right.
stipulate that development has to be,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
in the sale of the lot, that
Yeah.
lower portion. Did I
Mhm.
read in the packet that there was some, did Kelly comment on conservation issues or wetlands or something?
I think one of them's in, I think that might be flood zone or something.
Yeah, this lower right-hand corner.
So that's another reason I
That's
just want to
correct.
do that, the way
We
you
were
said.
actually
So
out there.
I can mention that to Mary that you guys had that suggestion. If you'd like, I can pass it along.
Please, I think
Hmm.
it's fair to say yes,
Mhm.
please do.
You can see if the sewer authority, once they decide where all the pumping stations are gonna be, and then I would release it to
Yeah.
other uses.
Awesome.
I mean, it's such a beautiful lot,
Yeah.
I know Karen Green doesn't want it.
Which I
She's
appreciate.
talked, she's spoken to everyone, hasn't she?
She didn't raise her breath with me.
Yeah, but the splitting of it, Jim, I think makes some sense and it doesn't impact, it keeps the green space, which is what we tried to do when we bought, the
And then
hotel.
the
with
other
the
side
parks
is more upland, that's down. in
Yeah.
the-
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
eliminate that
That's a nice.
flood
yeah.
zones.
And you're still keeping your green buffer for,
Yeah, which is a goal.
Yeah.
A good
It'll
goal.
be on the sewer systems, you don't have to worry about nitrogen.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of positives. there.
yeah.
It doesn't, and
And you only gotta walk across the street to get your pumpkin in October.
There you
Right,
go.
but it goes
You
back.
go to
to
the
what I said a couple
library.
times. The RTA goes by, there's a lot of reasons why that's.
Library.
Mhm.
Yeah.
no, actually, it's a fixed on the fixed route.
I think we had a set of minutes was the last thing.
Yeah.
to vote on.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of April 21st, 2022.
A second,
All in favor?
Fine.
Aye.
And as Kyle just touched on,
Mhm.
we will stand by if there's anything that surfaces that we need to have a
Mm-hmm.
discussion about.
And I think the selectmen will want you in sometime soon. I'll see what Bob says about that and what the timeline is, so stay tuned for that.
Excellent. Al, thank you.
Thank you
All right,
guys.
Very good.
So just as a curiosity follow-up, some of the parcels that we've already talked about, like the ones over on 6A and whatever that little side street was, there's a bunch of little pieces.
There's 2 lots, the 2
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. So where does that stand now?
So yeah, as an update, the 2 lot one, there's still title issues that the town is trying to work out with the town council and the title attorney and all that stuff. So actually Ed would be a better person to ask about that one, because there's still some issues. So lot C10 and C11 right next to 964 Route 6A, because it was taken for tax foreclosure reasons. It was a messy taking way back in the day, so they're still trying to unwrap that. The two parcels that you guys approved for disposition at the same time, which was 0 Mill Pond and 0 Oak Bluffs. We were hoping that the finance department was going to auction those as a part of their tax title auctions and everything. They've been kind of putting it off and putting it off. So actually Svetlana and I just wrote the RFP because I'm kind of getting impatient. I'd like to see it actually get disposed of. So we actually just completed the draft of the RFP to try to get rid of those two, since those should be pretty simple to get rid of. And so we're hoping to publish it, soon, maybe next week, but I've thought we were gonna publish it a million times and we haven't, so.
Right. Welcome to the town.
Yeah, so I'm working on that, gonna get it to the finish line.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not a priority.
But once we do it,
It's on the list.
the problem is also that we haven't ever done this before, so there's not a track record or, we don't have a system to go off. Once we do it the first time through the RFP, if we get this successfully done with those two parcels, it'll make, if we approve the 58 Matachi Road parcel disposition, that'll make that pretty easy. We can just copy and paste with our
There's the
RFP.
standard.
Yeah, so.
Great. All right. We have a vote to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
A lot of practice. I only seconded about 30 articles at times.